Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, I live full-time in this 4Runner behind me, traveling around taking landscape photos and making videos about editing, travel, photography, and everything in between. Now, I mentioned landscape photography, but this particular video is actually going to be a bit different. I'm not really going to talk about landscape photography, but I am going to talk about something that I think is going to affect photography in the near future and completely change the way photography is done, or even the entire business of photography, specifically of people. So if you remember not too long ago, I would say maybe 4 months ago, 6 months ago, you started to notice these AI generators that were becoming bigger and bigger. I think the first one was 𝐒𝐿e, and it only had access from influencers that made videos about it. And they were able to enter in different prompts and create these crazy pieces of art, or just realistic still life images, or just everything in between. And then smaller companies started making them. And then Twitter was flooded with these hilarious images that you could search for, things like salmon swimming in a stream, and then the AI would return like literal pieces of salmon that you eat swimming in the stream. Anyways, I digress. So that's what this topic is going to be about, but it's going to be about how it's about to affect photography. So I was scrolling on Twitter a couple days ago, and I noticed that one of the other people that I follow, 𝐒𝐨𝐜𝐚𝐫, rhymes with peachy if you follow her, had posted some photos of her generated by AI. And there was a link where you could basically, what ends up happening is you send them 20 images, 10 images close up of your face, 5 images from your chest and above, and then 5 images of your entire body. It takes those images and then gives you back 100 images. Now, this cost money, but I was really curious how well it worked, how it was going to work for me, and I really wanted to make this video to talk about this topic. So that's what I did. And the way it works is they just send you back basically, it seemed like 8 to 10 images of different themes. So some of them might have been like Vice City, the video game, or some of them might have been, I think, Mad Max, and there was some Christmas themes, and there was realistic themes, and there's just different types of images, artsy images, and I'm hopefully putting them on the screen as I talk about them right now. And they're not perfect, but man, do they look exactly like me, except with minor tweaks in some cases. And that's what really got me thinking about this topic. And you might be wondering why the title of this video says that this is going to affect photography. I don't necessarily think it's going to affect photography right this second. But I think in 5 years or 10 years, it is absolutely going to change the entire way people shoot people in photography. I mean, I think it's actually going to really hurt the photography industry. So I think that if you're someone that shoots people, this is a big deal. I have a friend right now looking to have professional headshots taken, and she's asked around for a few people. One person quoted her an astronomical amount, and I told her that guy was ridiculous. And then I said, you know, if you pay $200 for professional headshots, that's probably pretty good. It may be a little bit too expensive, but you'll probably get really good stuff. But if you can imagine right now, I just took all of the selfies or the photos that I've taken of myself in the last year, told a specific AI algorithm to say, hey, I want professional headshots. And then it uses its entire resources of professional headshots, and you tell it not to change any features. So a lot of the images where you're seeing of me, it changes things like my eye color and stuff like that. But I had no parameters to enter. I didn't tell it to do anything. It just did it. But with just a few parameters, like keep my face, but put me in a, you know, professional headshot setting, it would easily do it. And it would do it really well. We're like that close to being able to do that. And you might be saying, okay, who makes all of their money off of professional headshots? Probably not that many people, but it is a decent amount of, you know, random income for the people that do shoot stuff in a studio. Hey, pardon the interruption. I just wanted to say that if you want to support me in more ways and like and subscribe to this channel, you can do that with a little link down below where you can find things like my calendar. The holidays are coming up, and you can get it for photographers and non-photographers alike. Even if they don't watch this channel, they can scan those little QR codes and see how the images were taken on the calendar. I think that's pretty cool. You can also check out my Patreon down below where you can get things like postcards once a month, or you can see the behind the scenes edits of, I just uploaded the one from my iPhone review of the Blue Hour shot. I do both the edit on my R5 and on the iPhone, so you can see that on there as well. And last but not least, I've recently made some 3D wallpapers using the new iOS 16 that I think are pretty cool. You can also check out on that link down below. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let's get back to the video. Here's a great example, Christmas photos. A lot of people hire photographers every holiday season so that they can send Christmas postcards to their family. This AI thing made Christmas photos of me. Now, were they super great? Not really, but if I told an AI algorithm I wanted 100 Christmas images and it served me back 70 that were mediocre, 15 that were decent, and 15 that actually looked really good, That's 15 usable photos for my Christmas photos that year. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't even have to do my makeup. I don't have to get dressed up. I could just take photos of the family, send in to an AI thing to build those images. That's just one example. Let's take it to the next level, okay? Think about models and think about the amount of money that goes into modeling equipment, modeling clothes, modeling stuff. And think about the amount of money that goes into the photographers that are hired to do those. And now think about the fact that you don't need any of it. Think about the idea that you just serve an AI algorithm, a neural network, images of the clothing, and you say, don't change this. This has to stay the same, but create a person, create a model, create someone playing soccer, create someone going down a runway, create all of these things, and it could just serve you back realistic images. But think about the money that goes into that. Okay, so right now you have to pay a model to do a big photo shoot. And the bigger the photo shoot, so the more dissemination those images are gonna have, they're gonna go to the entire world, meaning you gotta pay the photographer and the model probably more because they're using those images around the world, such as like Adidas or Nike or any clothing brand, anywhere. Now imagine you don't have to pay for any of that. You just take the article of clothing, take images of it, serve it to the algorithm, and then just let it work for a day. And it gets you back the images that you can put on billboards that you don't have to pay anyone for, that you're not worried about copyright. You're not worried about using it in the wrong way. You've just created this person, this artificially perfect person, and you don't even need models anymore. Let's take it even a step further. This is one I came up with where I was thinking, what if in 10 years from now, you don't have enough money to have someone take photos of your wedding, but everyone just takes their phone and you tell everyone at the wedding. So we're talking 10 years from now. So this iPhone 14 will be an iPhone 24, which just sounds ridiculous. And you tell everyone, hey, take pictures of the entire wedding. And then upload those images to this folder at the end. And we have an AI algorithm use these people, that moment, and then just turn it into photography, bokeh, lighting, and all of those things and see what it comes out to be. Now, I know many of you listening to this are saying, these images aren't good enough right now. These images, there's no way that can happen. But like, in less than 6 months, we went from it not existing to me now having access to an algorithm that I don't tell anything to, and it spits back images that I find pleasant. Imagine if you had an algorithm where you could just adjust a few parameters. Because again, we're not even talking about for you and me. We're talking about for companies like H&M. We're talking about companies, fashion companies like Prada and Gucci and all of those big companies, all of Berkshire Hathaway stuff with a lot of money where they're like, why don't we pour a ton of money into this algorithm-based stuff and then start creating models and images of those pieces of clothing without ever having to pay a photographer, without ever having to pay for the clothing, without ever having to pay for the rights to use that stuff. That's where it's going to change photography, and it is coming soon, like real soon. I don't think we're that far off. I think the technology that we have right now is still pretty basic for the consumer level, but once you start throwing a lot of money at it and you start giving it more parameters on exactly what you want, I think we're going to come away with realistic, quality, portfolio-worthy images of people modeling clothes, people getting headshots, people taking their Christmas photos. Yeah, what a time to be alive. So that's what this video was about, is me talking about that. And if you want my opinion on landscapes, it's not really going to change landscape photography because right now we already create fake landscapes. We have people, if you watch Rings of Power or Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or any of the universes, those are all gorgeous, gorgeous images of fake places. Those already exist. They're already, maybe they're designed by artists, but those could be AI generated and they already are fake. So there's not really any hindrance to actual landscape photography. It's people. It's taking photos of people that is completely going to change the way we do it. And that's the interesting thing, because all of the money in photography is photographing people. So I would love to know what you think in the comments down below. That's going to be this video. And also, if you paid attention, you couldn't really see them because of the sun. These. I got a video that's going to come out about these. New filter system that I'm super excited to talk about. Super cool. Make sure you subscribe for that. Like this video if you liked it. Consider subscribing if you loved it, or if you want to check out these new filter system. And I'll see you on the next one. Later.